The 70s built machines with soul, stamina, and real speed. Today, we visit 18 classics that still embarrass modern bikes on character, distance, and everyday reliability because most of these bikes still run today. Number 18. BMW R65. The BMW R65 is the lightest airhead, builds confidence without punishing your wrists or back, and it feels peaceful, balanced, and planted on real roads. The small boxer gives smooth pull from low revs, keeps vibration muted, and turns with nimble, predictable manners. The chassis stays stable at city pace, yet stays steady on a breezy highway. You sit upright with relaxed reach, the pegs land where knees find comfort, and controls have light effort that reduces fatigue. The motor is 648 cubic centimeters, air-cooled, with easy valve work that stays simple in a home garage. The shaft drive is clean and maintenance-free for riders who want reliable miles without drama. Seat height is about 30 to 31 inches. The tank holds roughly 5.8 gallons, and the range feels steady in the mid-40s miles per gallon. Short wheelbase geometry helps the bike tip in with confidence, then settle with steady feedback as the suspension soaks a mid-corner patch. One rider said, "The R65 is an excellent handling bike that is a great all-day tourer." Prices for clean riders usually land $4,000 to $6,000, while mint survivors with history reach $7,000 to $9,000. The market still respects an unmolested airhead. The charm here is daily ease. Cold starts are dependable, steering is light, and the whole bike feels cooperative for U-turns, parking, and slow traffic. Parts support is strong, manuals are clear, and communities share reliable fixes. Basic tools handle chores. Valve checks take minutes. Wrench time stays peaceful. Tires with modern compounds add secure grip while keeping vintage feel. You give up some range next to boxers. And tall interstate grades ask for a downshift, but the trade is lower weight, friendly ergonomics, and approachable power that grows skill instead of ego. If you want a classic that keeps wrists happy and miles stress-free, still feels alive, the R65 delivers mechanical character modern screens cannot. Want more highway punch with the same easy manners? The next Honda 4 is the sweet middle for smooth distance and simple upkeep. Number 17. Honda CB650. Honda's CB650 is the friendliest classic 4 that still feels strong at modern speeds. A smooth, reliable companion that keeps confidence high without drama. The 627cc inline 4 pulls with clean torque off idle, then builds stable urge through the mid-range, so passes feel simple. Carbs tune easily with fresh jets and boots, and valve service stays practical for home mechanics, keeping running costs predictable and value strong. Gearing is relaxed on the highway. The engine sits in a quiet zone, and mirrors stay useful at cruise. Steering is light without feeling twitchy. The chassis tracks straight through sweepers, and the seat-to-peg triangle favors comfort and balance on longer Saturday loops. Part support in the States is reliable, with consumables everywhere, which makes ownership calmer than many period rivals. Expect around 31 inches of seat height, a tank near 4.2 gallons, and real high 30s to low 40s miles per gallon. Clean documented riders usually land $3,000 to $5,000, while showy restorations can press $6,000 to $8,000. Strong value for a durable, rideable time capsule. Stock single front disc and rear drum feel dated under repeated hard stops, so lines and modern pads bring firmer bite and better control. Suspension is honest and basic. Fresh fork oil and new shocks add plush control over frost heaves without spoiling the bike's light nature. City work is peaceful thanks to clutch take-up, and the bike filters through traffic with stable manners that feel neither nervous nor buzzy. Out on 2 lanes, it settles into a comfortable lope, holds a neat line, and gives clear feedback that flatters steady senior pace. Chrome, paint, and simple gauges deliver classic charm without fussy electronics, so the bike stays focused on riding, not menus or screens. If you prefer shaft drive and a calmer cadence for knees and back, watch the Moto Guzzi convert that shifts itself for true relaxation. Stay with us, hit subscribe, and keep your garage reliable with real-world tips every week. Number 16. Moto Guzzi 1000 convert. 2-speed plus torque converter turns creeping into silky progress and makes parking lot control feel peaceful. That 90-degree bi-twin is reliable and air-cooled, with easy torque that calms busy streets. You get shaft drive for clean miles and screw and lock nut valves that keep service simple for home garages. Linked brakes add stable stops when traffic does something stupid. Riders over 40 like the relaxed triangle, the generous saddle, and the mellow pulses that stay smooth at cruise. Here's the value picture. Most honest riders change hands for 5 to 8,000, while tidy originals with records can touch 10 to 12. Fuel capacity sits a touch over 6 gallons, so range stays practical even with that big twins swagger. Real-world economy is often low 40s when paced, which beats many new heavy tourers, and part support remains solid through clubs and specialists. Seat height lands around 31 inches for flat-foot confidence on level ground. One rider shared, "You are now officially a convert pervert. They are fun bikes. I am in the process." At speed, the long wheelbase track's stable, yet the steering stays predictable with a light roll of the wrists. The fairing and bags many came with bring peaceful air and real luggage, which keeps weekend loops simple and stress-free. Now the honest negative. Weight is real, and if you rush the bars at walking pace, the front can feel heavy. Let the converter do the work. Ease the clutch hand, and the big Guzzi relaxes into silent glide. That calm mechanical rhythm is why converts run big miles without drama. If you want a classic character with modern-like usability, this is a confident pick for senior riders and new vintage owners alike. Want a lighter feel and cheap insurance to match? Suzuki brings honest value next. Factory fuel capacity was quoted near 6.6 gallons, with period tests praising its silky drive and real stamina today. Number 15, Suzuki GS425. A small twin that rides bigger than it looks, with friendly torque, a light clutch, and reliable manners in traffic. It is the kind of honest machine that keeps wrists and knees comfortable while still feeling lively at suburban speeds. The 425cc SOHC twin is simple to service and responds to clean carbs, fresh plugs, and steady valves. Owners love the smooth pull from low revs and the way it settles into a stable hum on country 2 lanes. Part supply in the United States remains strong because the GS family saw huge numbers, so filters, cables, and pads stay affordable. Most clean riders change hands for 2 to 4,000, while fresh survivors can reach 5 or 6. You sit at roughly 31 inches with neutral bars and mids that save hips, so slow turns feel calm instead of twitchy. The tank holds about 4 gallons, and steady riders often see around 50 miles per gallon, which makes weekend loops cheap and carefree. It fit a small screen and light luggage, and the bike handles daily miles with grace, even with the wind. Here's the one drawback. At interstate pace, a long headwind can tire your neck, and the front can feel busy without a steady wrist. Treat it like a classic standard, not a superbike, and it easily rewards with long, trouble-free seasons. If you are returning to riding after a long break, the GS425 is a confidence builder that forgives small mistakes, yet never feels dull. The controls are clear, the clutch engages clean, and the brakes respond predictably when set up with fresh fluid and lines. Take time to balance the carbs, set the chain slack, and bump the tires to spec, and the whole bike feels renewed. Want wind protection baked in and genuine sport tour speed? Bavaria answers next with a legend. Number 14, BMW R100 RS. The fairing that came from the wind tunnel made the distance quiet and kept riders stable at real highway pace. The 980cc boxer brings broad torque, a reliable feel, and that low center of gravity seniors call confidence in crosswinds. Shaft drive keeps trousers clean, and maintenance simple, and valve checks stay friendly with screw and lock nut gear on the heads. The cockpit is a calm pocket, with clear clocks and a reach that saves wrists and neck on long interstates. Sorted riders usually sell for 10 to 15,000, while museum painted with history can push higher when the paperwork is strong. The tank holds a bit over 6 gallons in most years, and real riders often report about 40 miles per gallon at steady cruise. Seat height sits around 32 inches, which sounds tall but feels lower once the boxer drops the mass. The chassis likes a load, so bags and a passenger do not upset the line if shocks are fresh and tires are true. Top speed of BMW R100 RS. Brakes respond best with good pads and clean fluid, and the forks are happier with fresh oil and matched springs. The feel is planted, the feedback is honest, and the whole bike loves long sweeping lanes where the fairing shows its arrow edge. The fairing also reduces rain fatigue, which keeps focus sharp late in the day. Here's the soft negative. At parking speeds with full bags, the steering can feel heavy until you loosen your shoulders and add a little throttle. Once rolling, it turns with light pressure and carries speed without drama. For seniors who still enjoy a brisk pace, this is a sport tour tool that remains practical and reliable. Want a brutal motor with the same big mile attitude? Yamaha's Iron Lung 4 is up next. Period Tests praised its wind management and long-distance comfort and weather protection. What's your highest mileage on an old twin, and what failed first? Let us know in the comments. Number 13, Yamaha XS1100/XS11. The shaft drive hammer that laughs at heat, load, and long grades while running silky at cruise. Yamaha's big inline 4 makes deep torque, starts with a thumb, and holds a reliable idle after weeks in the garage. Owners call it an iron lung because it shrugs at 2, up weight, and still pulls clean past passing speed. The bottom end is stout, and routine service is simple once you learn the shim tool for valves. Prices for good riders often sit around $4,000 to $6,000, with pampered examples $7,000 to $9,000 when history is strong. Seat height is roughly 32 inches, and the tank holds near 6 gallons on many models, so range is serious for real touring. In traffic, keep the clutch free and the throttle smooth, and the bike lopes with zero strain. Out on open highways, it tracks stable and resists cross-wind twitch, which saves shoulders and neck on long days. The negative is weight. At low speed, it feels heavy until you set your eyes up, relax your arms, and carry a little drive through the turn. Once rolling, it is surprisingly nimble for size, and the brakes respond well with fresh pads, braided lines, and clean fluid. Add a small screen and soft bags, and you get a budget mile eater that stays civil in heat and hills. Consumption usually sits mid to high 30s miles per gallon when ridden steadily, and many owners log 200 miles on relaxed routes. The seat is broad and plush, with humane pegs and a gearbox that feels smooth once warm. If you want character and lightweight instead of brute mass, the Italian feather bi-twin that follows brings a different flavor with real charm. Number 12, Moto Morini 3.5, 350. Featherweight Italian that teaches clean lines and rewards smooth hands. The little bi-twin wakes with a crisp note, then settles into a reliable rhythm. At city pace, the steering is light, and the chassis stays stable when the surface gets patchy. You can pick a line, breathe, and let the bike finish the corner with quiet grace. Under the tank sits a 344cc bi-twin with a 6-speed that likes to spin. Keep it in the mid-range and the response feels direct and friendly. Real brakes for the era give confident stops without grabbing, and the frame talks in plain language. Maintenance keeps simple. Valves are reachable, electrics are basic, and parts support is better than people expect thanks to dedicated suppliers. Prices today sit in the $5,000 to $8,000 window for honest riders. Concours examples can touch 10 to 12 when history is documented. Exhaust sound of Moto Morini 3.5, 350. Seat height is around 31 inches. The tank holds about 3.5 to 3.7 gallons, and real fuel use hovers near 50 miles per gallon if you ride like a grown-up. The negative is small but real. Trim bits can take patience to source, and wind will push you on wide highways unless you add a small screen. Still, the light mass, upright stance, and clear controls make this a confidence builder for riders who want feedback without fatigue. Pick a favorite back road, aim for late apexes, and enjoy the smooth roll that a well-set Morini delivers. It is a bike that rewards neat inputs, steady eyes, and measured throttle with peaceful speed. Want torque like a freight train and a story for the cafe? Kawasaki 6 is next. Getting value here? Tap like and drop a hype so more riders find these practical picks. Number 11, Kawasaki KZ1300. Water-cooled inline 6 that feels locomotive strong and glass smooth while it eats distance. Twist the grip, and the big 6 rolls out deep torque without strain, then hums at highway pace with a silent calm. Few modern 4s can match. The shaft drive cuts fuss, and the cooling system keeps temps stable in summer traffic. Riders who tore 2 up praise the planted chassis and the way crosswinds barely nudge the line. Service reality is friendlier than the myth. Valves are shimmed over the bucket, carbs respond to patient sinking, and the bottom end is famously reliable. Buyers today see $8,000 to $15,000 for clean riders. The best pedigree machines can touch 20 when mileage and history line up. Seat height sits near 31 inches. Tank size clears 6 gallons, and real fuel use lands in the low 30s when you cruise at legal speeds. The downside is straightforward. Mass and width asks for planned parking, and a little respect in tight downtown turns. Once rolling, the weight melts into a stable, confident cadence that rewards smooth eyes and light hands. If you want a kingly sweep over long states, this engine delivers with very little drama and plenty of peaceful reach. Keep fresh tires, steady pressures, and good front pads, and the 𝐏𝐃𝐄𝐑 will shrug off heavy load and high heat. It gives seniors room to relax, mirrors that actually show traffic, and ergonomics that save wrists on long days. Fluids are simple, final drive oil takes minutes, and the alternator upgrade crowd offers reliable guidance. Original seats stay plush, often. Prefer something lighter for daily routes, but still welcoming to joints and budget? Honda's Small Hawk has your number next. Number 10. Honda CB400T Hawk. Easy twin that is cheap to keep perfect and gentle on joints, yet lively enough to make back roads fun. The 395cc parallel twin pulls with friendly torque, and the gearing forgives lazy shifts so the ride stays smooth in town. Clutch action is light, throttle response is clean, and the bike settles into a reliable beat that feels welcoming for hours. It is a machine you can service in a small garage with simple tools, and part support in the States is still healthy. Owners praise the neutral steering, the honest brakes, and the way the chassis tells the truth when you lean and breathe. 2,000 to 4,000 buys a respectable rider. Low-mile originals can stretch to 5 or 6 when paint and paperwork shine. The seat sits around 30.5 to 31 inches. The tank holds about 3.7 gallons, and real fuel use is near 50 miles per gallon. The weak spot is easy to fix. Stock shocks feel busy on broken streets, so fresh dampers and fork oil make a big difference. Add a small screen to cut, chest, buffet, check wheel bearings, sync the carbs once a season, and the Hawk turns into a stable little traveler. It will cruise at legal freeway pace while keeping vibes in checks and wrists relaxed. For seniors who want comfort without excess weight, this bike brings balance, value, and a clean stance that still looks right in a driveway. It is honest, durable, and ready to teach you reliable habits that transfer to larger machines. Need a fairing and a big mile posture from Italy with the same simple service? The SP rolls in next. Expect them peaceful morning commutes. Which seat or screen made your long days comfortable? Number 9. Moto Guzzi SP1000. Le Mans flavor with humane ergonomics that seniors actually enjoy. A package that mixes character, range, and year-round reliability. The 949cc bi-twin uses screw and lock nut valves you can set in the driveway, and the shaft drive keeps mess off the wheel so the garage stays clean. The factory fairing cuts buffet and builds quiet air, which makes long interstate days feel shorter and more peaceful. Steering is neutral, weight sits low, and the bike holds a line with stable confidence even when the road ripples. Linked brakes ask a short learning curve. Once you understand the pedal feel, stops are straight and drama-free. Most examples trade between 6,000 and 10,000. Sharp original paint and tidy paperwork can bring 12,000 to 15,000 with the right buyer. Seat height runs about 30 to 32 inches, depending on foam and shocks. The tank is roughly 6 gallons, and real fuel use lands in the high 30s to low 40s when you keep the pace steady. Electricals respond well to fresh grounds and a modern regulator, and the charging system becomes reliable with simple updates. Comfort-wise, this is a grown-up cockpit. Broad seat, relaxed reach, and mirrors that show traffic instead of elbows. Vibration is friendly and rhythmic rather than harsh, which helps shoulders and wrists at the end of a long week. Add fork oil, quality tires, and fresh brake lines. Then enjoy a classic that shrugs at weather and load. It is old school enough to feel mechanical, yet modern enough to tour in comfort without gadgets. Want a triple song with a calm seat triangle in the same easy service? Yamaha's Shaft Drive 850 is waiting. Number 8. Yamaha XS850. A broad mid-range triple that still feels alive under you. The XS850 blends smooth torque with a relaxed, upright stance that saves wrists and knees. The 826cc engine builds a deep muscular pull that doesn't fade with age, and the sound from those 3 cylinders is unmistakably classic. The shaft drive makes daily use clean and reliable, while the sturdy electrics, once refreshed, keep the lights bright and the stars confident. Riders over 40 still praise the balance of this bike. The way it stays planted through sweepers but rolls willingly into slower corners. You get neutral steering, steady suspension, and a solid seat triangle that suits longer legs. 3,000 to 5,000 buys a dependable rider. Well-kept examples often fetch 6 to 8. Expect a seat near 31 inches, a 5-gallon tank, and real high 30s to 40 miles per gallon if you ride smart. Once you sync the stock carbs properly, the engine runs silky smooth. Leave them neglected and it can turn rotten. A small fairing helps block chest wind and keeps fatigue low on longer rides. It's a machine that encourages calm, measured control rather than noise or flash. Want the same mechanical honesty with classic BMW charm and those iconic spoked wheels? Enter the BMW R90. Number 7. BMW R90. The BMW R90 sits right in the airhead sweet spot, where torque, balance, and all-day peace come together. That 889cc boxer engine hums with a confident, even pulse, making the road ahead feel calm and predictable. With proper care, it'll cross 100,000 miles without drama. Valve checks are simple screw and lock nut affairs, and the Bosch systems are so well mapped that even backyard mechanics can handle them. The frame geometry keeps the ride stable on fast roads, yet surprisingly nimble in tight bends. Nothing about this bike shouts, it just does everything with quiet confidence. $7,000 to $10,000 buys a fine rider. Museum-grade examples can climb to $15,000 for correct paint and paperwork. The seat sits just above 31 inches. The tank holds nearly 6 gallons, and MPG hovers in the low 40s, giving you a touring range that rivals newer bikes. The front brakes feel is a known weak spot. Modern pads and braided lines make it sharp again. Add a windshield, check your bearings, and you've got a classic that's as comfortable on long loops as it is parked at a diner. The best part? Every sound and motion feels authentic, not filtered. Want twin-cylinder thump, but with fewer parts to service? Kawasaki's big twin bridges that gap perfectly. Number 6. Kawasaki KZ750 Twin. Built for riders who want real torque without the bulk, this big-bore twin is a genuine workhorse. The 745cc engine pulls hard from idle, settles into a stable mid-range, and feels absolutely bulletproof once warm. Maintenance is easy, shim valves, reliable ignition, and a stout bottom end built for touring loads. The KZ750 delivers that relaxed twin heartbeat at highway pace, keeping the rhythm steady while the miles roll by. Steering feels neutral, and the weight balance sits low enough for easy handling, even in slow traffic. Prices hold steady at $3,000 to $5,000 for healthy examples, while tidy originals can touch 6 or 7 for collectors. The seat is around 31 inches, the tank roughly 4.5 gallons, and MPG sits in the mid-40s when tuned right. If you push past 70 without carb balance, vibrations appear, but sync it properly, and the ride stays remarkably smooth. The gearbox feels tight and positive, the clutch easy underhand, and the twin exhaust note has a deep, honest tone that modern mufflers rarely capture. It's simple, strong, and unpretentious. A reminder that fewer cylinders don't mean less performance. If you like that twin feel but want water cooling and shaft drive simplicity, Honda CX shows why it became famous for outliving everything else. Ride along and subscribe. We bring senior-friendly setups and stable classics that just work. Which of these would you cross a state line on today? Number 5. Honda CX500. This transverse liquid-cooled bi-twin refuses to die. Known as the plastic maggot in its day, but loved by those who understand engineering, the CX500 has earned a cult following for its endurance. Its 497cc bi-twin is rotated 90 degrees, giving the shaft drive a straight shot and keeping service simple. The pushrod design makes valve checks quick, and the cooling keeps the engine reliable under heat and stress. Owners often see 150,000 miles with nothing more than basic oil and coolant changes. The ergonomics are upright, the bars are natural, and the seat height sits around 31.5 inches, perfect for older riders wanting stable footing. The tank holds about 4.5 gallons, and you'll get close to 50 miles per gallon in normal use. Prices stay friendly, $3,000 to $5,000 for solid commuters, $5,000 to $7,000 for pristine survivors. And the engine hums smooth when tuned, with just enough thrum to remind you it's mechanical. Maintenance quirks include the charging stator on early bikes. Once updated, the system becomes reliable for decades. It's the kind of motorcycle you can neglect a little, and it still forgives you. Shaft drive means no messy chains, and the clutch engagement is gentle enough for arthritic wrists. The ride feels light for its spec, and handling stays predictable even when loaded with gear. Whether you commute daily or tour occasionally, this Honda keeps running with that bulletproof Japanese logic. Less flash, more function. And if you want that same upright posture but crave a larger boxer's pull and longer gearing, the BMW R100/7 is waiting to prove why its reputation for comfort and longevity is more than deserved. Number 4. BMW R100/7. Understressed big boxer that eats states with a calm, reliable rhythm and steady balance. The 980cc twin breathes easy, pulls with even torque, and settles into a peaceful cadence at true highway pace. Tall gearing keeps revs modest, the shaft drive stays clean, and service stays practical with valves you can set in your own garage. Charging turns consistent, Once grounds are refreshed and a modern regulator is installed, and the Bosch systems remain durable and known. The riding triangle is humane for older shoulders, bars are friendly to wrists, and the broad seat spreads weight for comfort on long days. Expect a seat near 31.5 inches, a tank around 6 gallons, and real low 40s miles per gallon when you keep a smooth roll. And clean riders usually bring 7 to 11,000, while top survivors with records can reach 14, which still buys serious longevity. The light negative is fork dive if you panic or grab at the lever, since the soft springs move quickly under an abrupt weight shift. The fix is simple and effective. Refresh fork oil, add quality springs, and practice progressive squeeze so the chassis stays stable under load. Braking hard while upright keeps lines clean, and a gentle roll on exit restores balance without drama. What you get is a classic that feels modern in the ways that matter, with predictable manners and mile-deep parts support. If you prefer a lighter commuter with lower cost and the same approachable attitude, the Kawasaki 400 Twin nails it. Fit luggage in a taller screen, and the bike turns long weekends into effortless loops, crossing counties with reliable range and silent vibes. It forgives sloppy shifts and rewards patient hands with a smooth, unhurried pace daily. Number 3, Kawasaki KZ400. A simple twin that stays forgiving, cheap to run, and perfect for backroad peace when you want miles without drama. The 398cc engine is a friendly worker with mellow vibration and enough torques to climb small grades if you pick the right gear. Twin carbs are straightforward, valves are owner serviceable, and parts support in the States is reliable thanks to years of shared hardware. The chassis feels honest rather than flashy. It tracks predictable lines, steers light, and settles quickly after bumps, so confidence grows with every ride. Seat height sits near 31 inches. The tank holds about 3.7 gallons, and real mileage lives in the mid-50s with a smooth wrist. Clean riders usually sell between 2 and 4,000, while crisp originals with paperwork can reach 5 or 6. Still a strong value for a vintage commuter. The light negative is tall gearing that can feel lazy on hills, with 2 aboard, which invites extra clutch and a busier right hand to keep momentum. The workaround is practical. Keep chain tension set, run fresh plugs, and downshift earlier, so the motor stays in its happy zone, where response is quicker. Add a small screen for chest relief, fit modern rubber for grip, and service the forks so the front stays stable in rough city patches. Because the KZ400 is light, parking is easy, insurance is friendly, and the overall rhythm is peaceful rather than frantic. You will not win stoplight duels, and you will not care. The reward is quiet reliability and low-stress maintenance that leaves time to ride. If you want floorboards, an upright bar, and a sofa seat with real character for longer loops, the California 850 brings the vibe with shaft drive serenity. Number 2, Moto Guzzi California 850. Floorboards, upright bars, and a saddle that treats your spine with respect, while the Big Vi twin thumps a reliable heartbeat. The 844cc engine is stout and tractable. The shaft drive keeps mess off pants and bags, and valves adjust with a simple screw and lock nut. Linked brakes add calm. Stable stops once you learn the feel, and the long wheelbase brings straight line serenity on windy days. Seniors value the easy leverage, the generous mirrors, and the relaxed peg drop that takes pressure off knees during long county crossings. Expect a friendly seat in the low 31s, a tank near 6 gallons, and near 40 miles per gallon when you cruise with a light wrist. Good riders trade between 6 and 9,000, with tidy originals reaching 10 to 12, a fair price for a machine that can carry luggage. The light negative is wind that can press your chest at interstate pace without a taller screen, which is easily solved with period touring glass or a fly screen. Fit soft bags and a rack, and the Cali becomes a practical weekender, soaking bumps with plush composure while the motor hums a peaceful cadence. Steering is neutral, low-speed balance is friendly, and the gearbox has a mechanical click that rewards deliberate toes. Service stays approachable for home garages. Keep cables lubed, grease the splines when the wheel comes off, and change fluids on schedule for consistent manners. The riding vibe is unhurried and confident, a steady rhythm that ages well, ready for the toughest classic shaft twin in the room. With the same easy care and a slightly firmer edge, the T3 closes the show with stoic, long-haul grace. If this list helps your next buy, hit like and add a hype. It keeps these deep dives coming. If you own one of these, what upgrade gave the biggest smooth gain? Number 1, Moto Guzzi 850 T3, a stone axe, reliable tourer that blends torque, balance, and low-stress upkeep for riders who want miles more than drama. The 844cc bi-twin sits across the frame for cool knees, breathes through friendly carbs, and drives a shaft that shrugs at rain and grime. Screw and lock nut valves makes service simple, and the linked brakes reward smooth input with straight, controlled stops that build confidence on sketchy surfaces. Expect a seat between 31 and 32 inches, a tank near 6 gallons, and high 30s to low 40s miles per gallon when you cruise. Prices for solid riders live between $6,000 and $9,000, with fresh paint and records reaching 12. Still fair for a machine that can outlast trends and owners. The small negative is a side stand angle that feels odd on crowned roads. You'll learn the habit quickly by choosing level spots and using first gear as a secure catch. On the road, the T3 feels planted with a heavy flywheel that smooths shifts and turns throttle moves into linear drive. It likes a light countersteer, a settled mid-corner throttle, and an early look to the exit, which keeps the chassis stable and the rider relaxed. Fit decent shocks, grease the bearings, align the wheels and the bike tracks like a freight car through wind and ruts. Add bags and a screen, and you have a practical mile maker that keeps cadence on grades where lighter twins fade. Many owners report easy 6-figure mileage with nothing exotic, only regular fluids, valve checks, and attention to cables and grounds. This is the analog standard for seniors who want mechanical honesty, clear tools, and miles that feel timeless, ride after ride, season after season. Click the next video to see which modern bikes these 70s legends still humble with spirit and stability. Then hit subscribe to keep your miles reliable and your choices smart.